Hello everyone. Today there was a new update for Fortnite Battle Royale, and this update added vending machines, some changes to the way weapons function, and also some minor changes to harvesting. First of all, vending machines were added, and vending machines allow you to trade materials for other in-game items, and each machine offers 3 items of the same rarity, and 1 item for each material, and each rarity has its own price. With the prices, common will be 100 of either material for like said item, uncommon will be 200 material, rare will be 300 material, epic will be 400 material, and legendary is 500 material. So if you find a legendary machine, each item in there will be of legendary rarity, but they will each cost 500. So one will be 500 wood, one will be 500 metal, and one will be 500 brick. Like chests, these machines have set spawn locations, but whether or not they spawn in the given match is random, and the contents of the rarity of the machines also vary match to match. One match you might find this machine and it'll be a common machine, and then the next match it might be a legendary. It's not set, and the contents of the machines aren't set, and the items can also repeat. I have seen machines that have like double silenced SMG for whatever reason, and that was pretty unfortunate. There are machines at most named locations, and there are also some scattered at other random points across the map. They really aren't that rare. I'm not sure like the total amount there is on the map, but it's probably in like the 20s to 30s maybe even. I think these machines add an interesting element to some looting locations, such as the RV park, the shipping containers, the factories outside of Flesh Factories, which some people call the Yonder Yard, and then also Fatal Fields. Each of these spots allow you to quickly farm a lot of one type of material. Like the RV park and the shipping containers, you can get a lot of metal there. The factories outside Flesh, you can get a lot of wood and a lot of metal. And then Fatal, you can get a lot of brick. So you could get a lot of the like one type of material and then potentially be able to spend for that in a vending machine. But I don't really foresee this being used too often because the contents are random, and then like the fact of that spawns is random, and then also the rarity of the machine is random. It's just too random for it to really have any sort of meaningful like impact as far as the strategy of the game goes. I would never really plan around this, but it is nice if you're looting a location and then you get enough of a material, and then like say you're missing something. I think I had a game earlier where I was at the Yonder Yard and was able to get a sniper with the wood that I got, and otherwise I wouldn't have had a sniper. So there are some interesting things that you can do with the machines. I've never really ran into the machines mid-game and then found something off of it. It's mainly just been like early game, it was in the spot I was already looting, and then I was able just to like buy something if I didn't get exactly what I wanted out of there. But overall, I just think it's really too random to have really any sort of meaningful strategy built around it. It's nice when it works for you, and sometimes it can be a lifesaver, but it's just kind of random, kind of like a lot of things in this game. It's very random, and it's not something I'd really plan too much around. This update also added some changes to the way weapons function. These are actually the same changes that were previously tested in the shooting test mode like a month or two ago. I don't know when shooting test was, but it seems like it was very long ago at this point. And these changes are first shot accuracy, damage fall off at range, and then also the headshot multipliers of some weapons were reduced from 2.5 to 2x. This does not affect the fully automatic assault rifles and the SCARs because their headshot multipliers were already reduced to 2x a while ago when they were over buffed, but most other weapons were reduced from 2.5 to 2x, the ones that benefited from the first shot accuracy at least. First shot accuracy just means your crosshair will be perfectly tight. Like if you crouch or if you ADS and stand still, your crosshair will close and be super tight, and then your shot will be 100% accurate. It will 100% of the time go exactly where you're aiming, and this adds no variance as far as bloom goes, and then to compensate for that, they added damage fall off. I really don't like this that much. First shot accuracy was kind of already in the game to an extent. I'm not really sure. Like it wasn't perfectly accurate, but it was quite accurate. And then I don't really like gaining the first shot accuracy for the loss of that damage at range. It just makes the weapons feel very like inconsistent at range, and it makes me not want to go for some kills just because of how spam building is in this game. Pretty much everyone knows how to spam build at this point as soon as they're being shot. So like if you're shooting them with less damage, it's just very rare that you're actually going to be able to get those kills. So it just leads to me not even shooting at people at like range because I know they're just going to spam build and get away. Like those shots that I'm hitting aren't punishing enough to really warrant me shooting at them and taking that risk. Maybe if I have a snipe, I'll shoot them and then try to clean up the kill with the rifle, but even that is pretty inconsistent now, whereas before it'd maybe be like 2 or 3 shots after you hit that sniper shot. Now it's going to be several more shots, maybe even 4 or 5, just depending on how like what weapon you're using and the rarity of it goes. And then the headshots also are as like punishing. Instead of doing 66 with the blue AR, I think I was doing like 40 something. Or maybe even 30 something. I'm pretty sure my SCAR was headshotting for like 40 something, and that was pretty disappointing, whereas it used to be 70. And I understand it can be annoying to get headshot at range. I mean, it's happened to me. I play this game a lot, but it just feels very, very like unrewarding to headshot someone at range with a scar, especially when you're taking advantage of first shot accuracy and tapping perfectly and keeping track of their head and like hitting headshots consistently to only be hitting for 40, and then they could just spam build and get away. So I would prefer how it was in the previous version of the game, like prior to this update. I would prefer no first shot accuracy and then no damage fall off, but maybe my opinion on this will change as I get more time to play. Overall, it's just, I don't know, it feels very inconsistent at range, and it really makes those games where I don't have a sniper in the late game just really weird to play around. It makes me want to play very passive, more so than I already would in the past, just because you're going to be exposed for way longer if you're shooting at people when you're doing less damage, which really opens you up to being sniped. Whereas before, you were already kind of taking that risk and putting yourself out there. Now it's just more extreme. Like, it's the same risk, it's just more extreme now that you're doing less damage because you're going to be exposed for more time. There was also some important change. Those are like the important changes for this update. The two massive ones were the vending machines being added and then the shooting models being changed. Overall, vending machines aren't that impactful on the game, I don't think. It's not really something I'm going to play around too often. If I find something, it really actually increases the value of the llama because you get 500 of each material. So then you're good on mats and you can maybe trade for something if you really want to. But overall, it's just too random for me to really plan around it consistently or for it to really change how I play at all. And then also the shooting model I don't really like, but maybe I'll warm up to it over time. So those are the two major changes for this update. And there was also some minor changes to harvesting. These are two very small changes that I'll just quickly get into. The amount of wood you get from harvesting items was increased by 10%. This is cool. You're going to be having more wood more often. Really not that big of a deal. 10% isn't a very high number. And then the variance you get from harvesting was reduced from 30% to 15%. This just makes harvesting feel more consistent. It's neither a negative or a positive. Sometimes some items would be on the low end of the variance, so you would get less. And sometimes they would be on the high end, so you'd get more. So if it was like a high end, you're losing material here because the variance, you're going to be losing less, but you're also going to be gaining less, just depending on how the variance goes. So overall, it's just kind of there. It's not really a big deal. It just makes it feel more consistent, which is, I guess, good overall. I don't know why, really understand why there has to be variance and why it can't just be the same amount of mats you get from a thing every time. That's, I guess, another thing. But yeah, the variance was reduced, so things are just going to feel more consistent, which I think more consistency is good, but that might just be me. So that's it for this update. Vending machines, shooting test changes implemented, I guess, and then also the minor changes to harvesting. Let me know what you think of this update. I'm really interested to see what you guys think of the vending machines and also the shooting test changes being implemented. From what I've seen, most people really don't enjoy the new shooting, but I'm really eager to hear what you guys think about it. If you did enjoy this video, a like rating is always appreciated, and if you would like to see more content from me, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.